Okay.
Okay, welcome.
Hans,
5 years.
5 years.
We did it.
Yeah. It wasn't that big a problem for us to make it. I still have to get rid of my coat. I just arrived here at an empty high-tech campus, Hans. There's hardly anybody here. But we're here today, Hans Meeske, me, and the awesome Carina.
Hello.
So give it up for Carina. Helping us already for years to do awesome stuff and crazy stuff. And yeah, this wasn't what we expected it to be, Hans. Celebrate like this because normally we come together, we have drinks, we have demos, we have pictures, and it's all about connecting people and hotspots in Eindhoven. Yeah. So what's your feeling? 5 years and then like this?
It went very fast and also natural. So we started 5 years ago and we have fun, we do it, people like it, and that's why we're doing things. And still, I thought, how many missed we in the meantime? I only missed, I thought 3 times.
But you're a champion. I missed a bit more, but your children are already a bit old, but we didn't miss many. No, that's correct.
Not that many.
So it's over 50 events.
Let's go over 50. Yeah, let's go very easily.
And if you include the awards that we do with Innovation Origins, the Startup Awards and the Peak Awards, it's over. It's almost 60 events, I think.
Yeah.
So okay, so I made a small compilation of 5 years demos and drinks. Yeah. We can continue to talk, but just for you to get into, you haven't seen it. Oh, it's a good vibe.
Surprise!
It's about to start in 2016. Yeah, it's a small present. But don't think I made it this afternoon. Which buttons do I push, Hans, on your? Ah, there it is. So 5 years of demos and drinks. Yeah, this we know. Our characteristical mascot, so to say. And this is where it started, Hans. 12, you remember?
Wow. Yeah.
Familiar faces, startups, corporates, experts, beer, expert spouses, initiatives, Cavita. I think that time he was working for Amazon at university, Hans. Second time already, innovation space.
So we had the
dances. Yeah. How's your dancing?
Oh,
not that good? Okay.
Well, okay. I'm almost 50.
Yeah, celebrating outside, summer barbecue, hitting the piñata. Yeah, again, innovation space, another time, lots of people. Raising hands, who can help to solve this problem? The big director of Philips Benelux, the awards, AJ, Piñata, hit it. Yeah, cheers. Yeah. This is an HTC 27, Carina, again, Karen Thomas. Yeah. So for those that are watching for the first time, this is a bit 5 years of demos and drinks.
What was your favorite?
Oh, I think my favorite was, I think the first time, because immediately when we organized it the first time, you felt the good vibes and basically we had a drink afterwards and we remember that we said to each other, it could be that we have something, te pakken, you would say in
your hands.
Yeah, in your hands. That it was something that the community was waiting for, and that we started. And this is basically, Hans, to look back how we started. We had this empty building, HTC 12.
This is why we started. So we had a contract with the campus and allowed to start the startup ecosystem and the startup building, but no startups.
No startups.
And then we started with drinks and demos to get an environment for startups and so to get them in. And together we made it.
Yeah, this was one of our first plans. So this is like scanning drawings and doing medical PowerPoint skills by me, so it's not that good. But this was a bit the plan that we had after some months. But first, there was basically nobody in the building, and we had an empty building, and that's why we started to organize the event.
We were even not allowed to go in the last part. It was forbidden. It was blocked.
Yeah, it was blocked. And you remember all the stuff that we found that was, basically laying around there. These were the first residents. You remember Smart Robotics?
Yes, Smart Robotics, yeah.
So they will be in the show later on. Mark Menting will be here to explain or to tell us everything about the journey they've been on for the past 5 years with Smart Robotics. Amazing story. But these were the first residents in HTC 12. This is the first poster. Yeah, it's made by Vasilis Konstadakis of High-Tech XL. So thank you, Vasilis. If you're watching all the way from Berlin, iconic mascot. Yeah, and then we started to welcome, after the drinks and demos, several new residents. Like one of the first was Ember Mobility.
Ember Mobility.
And they did very well. They already moved out again because they grew.
Same as LifeSense Group, also started from the beginning, also grown out. Global presence.
You remember this?
Yes, Frans, Frank and Frans from the prototype, from Vention. And they took the initiative, they got the possibilities to take an empty part of the building with walls of 1 meter secrete. And they just joined us to take the opportunity to get out the concrete themselves, getting the space for the first months for free. They have now one of the most brilliant rooms in Building 12.
Yes, they have, and they've meanwhile changed their name into Vention Technology. So if you want to check them out online, you know where to go.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that also Vention is having relations with all the startups because they are making their stuff.
Yeah,
they're helping them with prototyping and to speed up. So it's a very well cooperation.
It's connected and helping each other. These are some other residents that came in some months later. It's Usono on the left and Bambi Medical on the right. So we welcome them. Bambi is now in HTC 29.
Yeah, they are neighbors here.
Yeah. Usono moved to the basement, Hans.
Yeah, and Usono is Hempel is still continuing and doing very well. And very happy that Jori welcomed and joined us also in Holland Innovative, supporting even more medtech startups.
And thank you. There's many. We couldn't have done this without an amazing amount of partners that helped us, that we could call, that if we didn't know how to arrange stuff, were there to help us. And we've been basically extending from HTC 12 to the other hotspots, basically together with the startups that started here and now moved to Stripe S, student teams that came from the university to the first events in HTC 12s, and they invited us to come to the university. Yeah. So from the High-Tech Campus Eindhoven, Hans, we went to Micro.
The first year already of the Drinks and Demos, we organized the High-Tech Meets Design. Yeah, we had the first residents, Marijn van der Pol, also joining this program today. And starting from that, also are joining out the design space and Microlab and later also TU Eindhoven.
Yeah. And our supporters, thank you, our supporters. I don't know if they're all there. They're always
Thank
busy.
you, Bart. Thank you, Innovation Origins. I'm seeing you over there. Great. Thank you for all your support.
High-Tech Plaza, High-Tech Campus, High-Tech
Thank you, Carina, High-Tech Plaza. Thank you, Betsy, for High-Tech XL. I think you're still there somewhere. Thank you, Eurest, for all the catering.
For the beers and the bitterballs.
Because the first time we need to do it ourselves. Hempel as being a startup in Drinks and Demos. So on Saturday we went to the shop.
You went to the shop. I think when you're crazy. So Hans went to the shop, ladies and gentlemen, with his car to the Hanos, because he has a company, so he can get his beer cheap over there. So he went to the Hanos to pick up the beer, then came back, stuffed it all in the fridge, so that you all guys and girls could drink a beer.
Dispatch of Europe, thanks also for joining.
Terry and Cheryl, amazing. We love them. Again, partners that we work a lot with.
Thank Bart Brouwers, thank Annick Schuttertjes, thank Hilde de Vocht Engeloe, thank Sima, thank Luc, thank Sanne, thank all for supporting us.
And we hope we can count on your support for the coming 5 years. Yeah, and in its 5 years, that's what we always do to get into the vibe, to get a good feeling before we start. We bring good news. And fortunately for us and for you, viewers, there's lots of good news every month in this region. So I looked a bit back. So those 5 years of good news, and I selected some items, and I'm curious to find out what you think. So let's have a look. 5 years of good news. Yeah, we became news ourselves, Hans. Okay. Not High-Tech XL, but the startups that started in High-Tech Campus 12, the building, and High-Tech Plaza, yeah, they did well, and that attracted the attention of national and even international media. So this is the guys of Smart Robotics. Picture above in the Financial Times of the Netherlands. LifeSense Group also made it to the Financial Times, and of course Eindhoven's Dagblad, also a big fan of what we're doing. Even the Volkskrant devoted a whole article in their weekend magazine towards, and they call it Silicon Valley at the Dommel. And they basically interviewed the startups in HTC 12. So good news for us, but even better for the startups who made it to the gossip pages, Hans. You and I, who could have thought that when we started? Gossip pages. I don't know which newspaper it is, but anyway.
No, and there was also Lisa Visser, Smart Photonics in that time.
Yeah, and this is a second time Emmy Award winner, Alex Terpstra with Civolution. He's in the left picture in the middle, Alex Terpstra, look him up. Two-fold Emmy Award winner with the brilliant technology of Civolution developed here at the High Tech campus. We also did projects with, for instance, refugee organizations, connecting them to the startups. And I think some of the startups, I know for sure, Sono worked with one of the refugees, basically helping them to gain experience, get connected to the networks, and then find themselves a job.
Talking about the people who need it, well, last Sunday I was allowed to support the daklozen in Eindhoven, because we have quite some daklozen in Eindhoven, and they have a need for winter jackets. So anybody who's listening who has a winter jacket, please bring it to a High Tech campus, and we will share it with the daklozen of Eindhoven. And we have quite some who need your support.
Bring your old winter jackets. We even made it, Hans, to a documentary on national television in the Netherlands with the startup. So you can find it still. It's probably, if you Google Brandpunt, Eindhoven, you will find it on 2Doc or somewhere on Uitzending Gemist.
I think Karine will place it on the website. Oh, well.
Yeah, and we hang with royalty, Hans. This was one of the highlights, because he made a joke about high tech. That not everybody was smiling about that joke.
Not everybody agrees that hardware development is more difficult than software, but it is.
We love our Prince. He opened many doors for us also in the Hannover Messe, together with guys and girls of High Tech XL and the Brainport Industries Network. There were good times. Hans.
Yeah, Constant Gordon. That's also a nice story. Also happening at Drinks and Demos. Well, I know Constant because of the football of our boys. And Constant was looking for a new job. And he was excellent in technical documentation, but needed to do something with it. And he joined Drinks and Demos, got his first project by Drinks and Demos, and finally built up his company. That's how Drinks and Demos works.
That's why we organize it, to connect people and to help them. And this is another example of great news. Bambi Medical, one of the startups that started in 12, but also Celtis, which is based on university campus. They made it to the European top 25 medtech startups to watch. Amazing news. This is what we're capable of together. Smart Robotics, they will be interviewed later in the show, making it to the global top 5 of the global top 600 robotics companies. Amazing achievement. Sono already mentioned, also started an IT campus, but this is here you can see what they're doing. What is it, Hans? What are we looking at here?
They have making a support in making echoscopy more available, and also in that way not only as a static image but also as a dynamic image. And that making opportunities for new insights in medical.
Basically, measuring stuff that was not possible to be measured.
Was not available, and
and we love student
teams. Yes, of course.
You also work with them, with your company.
We work a lot with them, and by the student teams, we learned so that challenge-based learning is the new way how to learn and new stuff, new methodology. Instead of going to a training, just do it by a project, and that's what student teams are doing, and we learning from it, and also need to supply it in. Development of talents.
And it's great to see that these student teams are a springboard, so to say, for startups. You see them starting as a student team, and then after some years working as a student team, they start their own company. You see this with Team Solid. You've seen this with the Solid team and Lightyear. So great to see this. This one we've already seen. This one also. this, I think this is the whole presentation,
Oh, yeah,
but it doesn't matter. And we just continue because we deleted the double slides, of course, but then we, in testing the equipment, probably have chosen the wrong presentation. No worries. Yeah, this was last week. Have you seen this? This was on national television. Have you seen this?
I don't
know what this is about?
but I know the startup. Yes,
so
yes.
world's first iron fuel brewed beer, like basically world's first metal beer. This is a project of Team Solid from the university and Bavaria brewing beer on iron fuel. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen, on the website of Innovation Origins. Yeah, they have been our partner for 5 years, Hans, and just like every month that we've been doing for 5 years, also this month, when we're celebrating, we look back to the past month. And again, Innovation Origins made a selection of the great news that happened in the past month in the startup and innovation community in Brainport Eindhoven. And they have this great series of articles on how the Dutch province of Noord-Brabant is leading in medtech. So if you're interested in medtech and e-health, check out this.
It's the only innovation channel what we have, and spreading the news, and that's really great. And it's really great that we have a close cooperation with Innovation Origins in supporting each other to spread the news.
Yeah, so check out these series. This also, they started a new series, it's not in the slide, about social robotics. So it's also very interesting. Maybe Bart will tell more about it later on. This is again, this is what the installation looks like. This is the metal beer. So we skip this one. Yeah, NXP, Hans. Yeah, you know what they're doing.
You don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but no, not what they're doing as a company, but the NXP-based, an NXP foundation headquartered in the USA is now giving out scholarships to students at the Eindhoven University for the amount, dear students, pay attention if you're in electronics, 5,000 euros per year. And this is new, totally new. So check it out online, NXP scholarships for you as a student to have basically a great life.
It's two sides?
No, it's from the US. They're paying scholarships here, and they were already doing scholarships in the US.
Okay.
So this is brilliant. Yeah, I think this is a great idea. I read about this and I thought, well, okay, why didn't we think about this before? Basically establishing hubs of Brainport abroad. And the first one is going to be in China with Hans Duisters, who is working on it from CIUS. So check it out, Brainport hubs. I would love to work on a Brainport hub for 2 years together with my family, connecting other countries, other regions to the Brainport Eindhoven region, Brainport Eindhoven hubs. Brilliant idea. Yeah, COVID, it's still going on.
Yeah.
And students of the university, they're working on a platform that will enable doctors to monitor patients, basically.
I mean, we're all in transition and learning very fast, and you also can have the followers of Drinks and Demers could have experienced that we also went to a learning curve, because in the first beginning of the corona, our experiments with virtual, we learned. We learned a lot.
We learned a lot. Yeah, and even today we had to test more than we anticipated, so that's why we were a bit late and chose the wrong presentation. No problem. It's okay. Yeah, next. This is I like this. This is also somebody that we knew from the history of Demos and Drinks, Remmelt van Tol. He invented a cheaper and easier way to do corona testing, and that's now tested in Belgium. So basically, an inventor.
Why Belgium?
That I don't know. It's probably in the article. I know Remmelt, and he's a crazy guy. And inventing stuff, probably, I don't know how he came to this idea, but basically his idea is now tested in Belgium, and it will make corona testing cheaper and easier. And then already mentioned, Hans, the first resident of HTC 12.
Yeah,
smart robotics, and
grown out in, I think, 3 years' time, grown out to a very big facility in Best. I don't know, maybe 1,000 square meters, and growing very fast there. So
yeah, but Mark Menting is probably hanging somewhere in virtual space.
Yes, I am.
Used by us. Yeah, there he is. First let's give it up for Mark Menting. I remember when we started, I knew your companion, your co-founder, Heiko, from Team Dare.
Yeah.
He was basically a uber robot nerd. So to say, he was working with the robot soccer players, and he had his own robot band. And then together with you, the two of you decided to build this amazing robotics company. Basically, an employment agency was the first idea for robots. And we thought, we discussed, what about this idea? Yeah, let's see. But history has proven you guys right, because you went amazing. So take us along the journey that you and Heiko, your co-founder, have been on, Mark, since you started 5 years ago.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for being present of this interview, and all those pictures there. You have a trip to memory lane. So I still recall very well the first entry made in HTC 12, and we had the luxury to get our own space. Well, in 2015, we were a team of 4 employees, and nowadays we have grown to 70 plus employees. To summarize a bit of the growth in the past 5 years. And yeah, what can I say, Betjan? I can take all the time to tell.
But normally, when people think of robots, they think of all these arms, and they think of car factories with robots. But you did something different. You didn't make hardware. So what's the proposition of your company? And why?
So what we do is we develop robot-independent software as a platform approach, and based on that platform, we derive applications for certain industries, mainly warehouse and e-commerce companies, and production facilities in fast-moving consumer goods and pharma. So we dedicated ourselves in the end, after our pitch of employment agency for robots, where we had a quite broad focus. We have specialized ourselves in 2 core markets, and we developed software enabling 2 main product lines. And it's still a robot arm, but for item picking purposes, for example, in e-commerce warehouses, indeed, in highly unpredictable environments, meaning you don't know what kind of items you have to pick and where they are located, and then the robot has to figure it out themselves.
So, and then you pivoted, you started broad, then you choose two markets, and then all kinds of, looking from a distance, it looked like an amazing adventure, because then you read they lended themselves a huge amount of funding. Then Van der Lande took a stake in your company. Then Van Lande was sold to Toyota. Then you did a second investment round with Toyota and Innovation Industries, and you went from 2 guys to 70 in less than 5 years. And recently, you also opened an office somewhere else in the Netherlands. Why was that? And which city was it again?
Yeah, so we opened an office in Utrecht. And the reason for that is that we have some quite well-skilled software engineers from that region. So I'm very fond of Brainport region, of course, but we also see some good universities in the region of Utrecht. And as some of our team members are located there, starting to have their family over there, and it's a quite good recruitment source, we decided to facilitate by opening an office over there, so they didn't have to travel. Nowadays, Corona is impacting traveling anyway, but at that time, this was the reason to open that office in Utrecht.
Okay, final question, Mark, because it's a busy program, but we want to learn and to connect. So you've been working hard 5 years. What's the biggest lesson you and Heiko as founders learned over the years that you can share with others that also have the idea to start or are in the process of starting up the company?
Wow, that's a good question, Betjan. Maybe my first answer would be, you have to have a plan, but be very flexible, because you know for sure that one thing will not be achieved, and that's your original plan. So flexibility in changing to circumstances is, I think, the key message that I would like to convey to other startups and scale-ups. But you have to start with a plan in mind, but adapt, because that's, in my opinion, where startups are much better equipped than the bigger companies. In essence.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And say hi to Heiko and all the best.
Yeah.
Will do so.
This is the picture. Yeah, this is the picture you talked about. This was in the Financial Times of the Netherlands. Amazing picture. A pick and place robot and back. Yeah, Nina.
And then we now go to Nina.
Also one of the first residents. Nina, are you there?
Yes.
Somewhere in virtual space also.
There she is.
Where she is, I don't see her.
Can you see me?
Nina. No, I cannot see you, but we hear you, so that's good.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Nina?
I'm very fine. It's unfortunate that you can't see me because I'm in front of the all the knobs and all the colorful knobs here in the HCC 12 building, where your picture was taken together with Hans, which was the first Drinks and demo. So I wanted to showcase that, but I don't know why it's not working. I can see myself, but apparently you can.
I see them.
We can see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great. Oh, the rest can see you, Nina.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and we know what you look like because we've been seeing you for the past 5 years. You've been pretty much everywhere. You were also featured a lot in the media. Basically, you started with a lot of media exposure 5 years ago.
Yes, that's true. We were very lucky and still are very lucky that our marketing budget is still €0. And although that was €0, we managed to get indeed worldwide media traction. So we're very proud of that.
But how did you do this?
That's a good question. We actually don't know. No, I think it's because we have, of course, innovative technology that's almost speaks for itself a bit. Of course, we're in the food industry, and that's quite sexy nowadays. And when you bring technology into the food industry, that's extra sexy. So I think that was one of the USPs that we have now with 3D food printing technology, that we were able to gain so much attention, and we were one of the first in that area as well. So that naturally also gives you.
But food in these days, I know that you're working with chefs in Michelin star restaurants. Isn't COVID also hurting your business then at this moment, Nina?
Yes, of course. And it's of course very sad to see that so many customers of ours are actually also really struggling right now. And of course, we were immediately affected. We knew a bit from January onwards when it became harder to sell our machines. We still managed to stay live because we're working on new technology and new innovation, and we try to collaborate with larger organizations who have bigger budgets. Mm-hmm. But of course, our main target group, which is indeed restaurants, is hit quite hard, and it's completely down right now.
And the change has, it started out, I knew, as a multi-material printer, which is what was basically invented by your brother, which is now CTO of the company. And how did you switch from multi-material to food? How did this happen? What were the insights that made you pivot like that?
Well, we were already capable of printing food, but as you can see also in the picture, we always did that with Nutella, which is chocolate paste. Yeah. And my father came up with an idea in 2015 to showcase the multi-material printer in the best way, and that was a 3D pop-up restaurant. So everything was printed, your chair from plastics, then your plate from ceramics, your cutlery, and of course the food. And it was our idea to showcase all the capabilities of one machine, but the attention wasn't that much about the capabilities of printing plastics, because there were already so many printers out there that could do that way better than us. But the attention immediately went to the food printing itself. And that also, as I mentioned, was the reason for all the media attention. And that in 2017 gave us enough confidence to really say, okay, then we pivot our business and we go towards the food industry.
Okay, great. And Nina, Hempel, I thought around November you joined Hyper Plaza, Hempel also. What about 5 years and by Flow? Can you tell something?
Sure. Yeah, of course, I think we're the only one left that started here and is still here after 5 years. And in those 5 years, we've expanded quite a lot. So actually, a lot of rooms in the back of HC12 are now dedicated to Biflow. In the first 2 years, we indeed were very busy with getting our technology out there and pivoting towards the food industry. And when we did that in 2017, we really started to focus on getting our product production ready. We partnered with VDL here in Eersel, so in the neighborhood. So they took over our production of the machine. In that way, we could really focus on marketing and sales of the 3D printer, but also start with new projects to work on new technology. And yeah, that's where we are now. As mentioned, we also have difficulties, of course, with selling our machine to restaurants. So we again need to pivot a little bit, and therefore we're doing now much more around R&D. Together with multinational companies to see what is the future of 3D food printing. And most exciting thing about that is that we're currently investigating the possibilities of personalized nutrition. So how can you create food that is perfectly fit to your body? And we're very excited about those projects and innovations that are going on.
Okay, cool. Personalized nutrition. Yeah. Can we help you with something, Nina? Because that's what Demos and Drinks is about. You have challenges. Final question, can we help you with anything? Connect you, share something, help you, vacancies?
If you have any, then I have a connection request. If you have any connections towards the food industry, for example, companies like Nestle or PepsiCo that have needs for personalized nutrition or investigating those possibilities, then let us know. We're always looking for new partnerships. So any connections would be good.
Yeah. And Jumbo already one of your customers?
Sorry?
Jumbo already one of your customers?
What is my customer?
Jumbo?
No, Jumbo is one step too far. We need one step in between, because Jumbo is really the end goal, of course, where you want to put the machines out there, but a lot of research still is very necessary. Technology is out there, but the food also needs to be developed. Yeah. So we're really
when you want to go to Jumbo, contact us and we can support you. Yes?
Okay. Thank you, Nina.
Yes.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, we forgot to applaud. Yeah. I like this company because I totally do not understand exactly what they're doing, but what I know is that the impact of what they're doing is like huge. They help people that cannot be helped till now. Basically, that's what they do, and it has to do, Hans, with cold lightning bolts. So you know the lightning stuff. They use cold lightning bolts to cure people, basically. So let's hear it for Bas Zeper.
Hi.
Hey, Bas, hi.
Kun je mij zien en horen? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you, and we can see in the background the plasma cure thing. And
you have it here as well. So, well, it's indeed about lighting, and if you can see my image, you can see on one image the lighting doing their job. I like your explanation that you don't understand this. This is also one of the things what triggered me to go into this field, because it is a very exciting technology to use, originating from the Technical University of Eindhoven. And yes, it is all about helping people that are suffering with long-lasting, or they call it chronic wounds, typically somewhat elderly people that, and then the body is not able to cure the wounds themselves. And basically what we do with our solution is that we help the processes in the human body so that these wounds can close and people can go back to their normal life.
Okay, so basically you trigger the body to do its natural thing.
It's all about if a wound lasts for a long time, basically a large part of the skin is not there anymore, and the skin is a very, if not the most important thing of a human body, because it protects you from everything that is coming from the outside. So if you have such an opening, which is a wound, then bacteria infections get started. Normally, the human body can win the game, but if not, then we help with this cold plasma to disinfect the wound. But on top of that, we also stimulate the growth of new tissue that you, of course, need to close the wound from the outside. And that's our claim to fame.
Yeah, I can imagine, but it's a difficult claim, because if you explain this to people who are not a physicist, I can imagine that at first are a bit scared, like use lightning, cold lightning. They have no idea. So how was that for you to basically tell others about this proposition and connect them to what you're doing?
Yeah, well, that's of course very relevant. That's also why it's maybe even expressed if you look at the solution, our Pasoma equipment that you see in the picture. So yes, it is very high tech, and that's all what we love, and that's why we are high tech, whatever, and we are located at the high tech campus, etc., etc. But we all translated this into the one button operation. So this the start stop. So everything which is difficult is basically behind the front cover, and then it is easy to explain. And if you talk with the wound experts, we don't talk about high voltages and currents, etc., but we talk about what it will do and how easy it is to use. And basically, that is important. You have to speak in the language and the needs of your customer.
Yeah, and you've been very well explaining what you're all about, and I think Eindhoven companies are typically capable of doing so because you recently attracted a huge amount of funding from Horizon 2020, but you are not the only company. There were lots of Eindhoven companies that landed themselves lots of money. So why are Eindhoven companies so good in attracting money from, for instance, Horizon 2020 in this case? What is it?
It's still hard to tell. I think it is. It's quite a gamble to go that way. But yes, we were successful, and I think more are successful if you can really pitch what are the needs, and also can explain that this is the only way forward. So if you are in a high tech business, you know that it takes long. If you're in the med tech business, you know that it is even taking longer. In our case, we have received these funds, which is indeed a significant amount of money. To prove how well it works, because the clinical efficacy, that's still ahead of us. So we have now struggled for many years to get the system to work. And then the first question is all about safety. Is it safe to use? And now we are we can go to market. We have the CE allowance, so we can really move forward. And although COVID is not helping there, but basically we can move forward and collect this evidence, and we can do that not only in the Netherlands now, but we will do that in Europe, and of course by doing so also leveraging the opportunities in Europe as a market.
Okay. Hey, final question, of course, Hans, is again how can we help?
Yeah, well, as I say, we are open for the market, but I think in this network it is hard to get wound application specialists and medical staff, so we're looking for other ways. But basically, we like and we are open for everybody who would like to get helped with this solution. So we need patients, we need wound care centers that are really opening up. Although COVID is not helping there, we will do everything to get to these patients and help them out. Okay.
Yeah, clear story. I still don't get it totally technically, but it's a big solution for people that are suffering from big problems, as you explained.
But now I can finally invite you, because now we have the CE that I just can apply it to you, and at least you can experience it. So that's an invitation for you.
Are you still there? Because we're in the opposite building. I will come by later. Instead of having a drink with Hans, I come for the first plasma treatment.
Okay.
Will it rejuvenate my skin also?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, thank you very much, Bas. Yeah, this was one of the pictures, I think, last year. I'm also looking at Carina last year.
It was in building 27.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah. 27.
And again, this is something that I didn't know about before. So you have real data, but there's now also synthetic data. Do you know what synthetic data is, Hans?
Let's ask Wim Kees.
Yeah, let's ask Wim Kees. Wim Kees, big hat for you.
Thanks.
Wim Kees Jansen of Sinto.
Yeah, always great to start with such an amazing introduction. Thanks. Thanks for that. But indeed, synthetic data. And to really give a short explanation, indeed, you have real data, you have synthetic data. You have various synonyms, so fake data, artificial data, dummy data, and we like to call it synthetic data, but it's indeed data that is generated by a computer.
And why is it necessary that a computer generates data, and why is synthetic data then better than real data, or what's the difference?
Exactly. So basically we generate synthetic data, and we apply a model to generate synthetic data with preserved patterns, statistics, etc. To such an extent that you can use synthetic data to do statistical analysis, to train machine learning models on it, to train AI models on it. And the data quality that we have at this stage is so high that even when you train machine learning models or AI models on synthetic data, we see rarely a difference in performance when we train the same model on the original data. But of course, the key difference is that there is no personal data in that synthetic data. So you do not face the privacy constraints that you typically have when working with original privacy sensitive data.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, and is it also possible to, when you have privacy data, to make from privacy data synthetic data, so to be able to
exactly. Exactly. So what we do, we train our model on an original data set. Basically, we then generate a synthetic data twin of the original data. And then, as alternative to using original data, you can use synthetic data. For example, if you want to share synthetic data with a third party. And of course, a lot of startups that we see in the drinks and demos require access to sensitive data for their models. And yeah, as an alternative, they can use synthetic data at this stage.
And if they want, how can they just connect to you on LinkedIn and ask the question, and you have a special offer for all our amazing startups?
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing business here for them.
So if you want to test it out in practice, you can contact me via our website or find me on LinkedIn. Just mention that you heard this story during this event, and we make sure that we realize your innovation together.
Okay, we will also mention it. In the thing that we will announce later. So it's still a secret. I almost gave it away.
Almost secret.
Glad I didn't. So you pitched about a year ago, a bit longer ago, and then what happened? Because that's what we learned. We've been in touch afterwards. That it made a difference for your company, the pitch at Demos and Drinks.
Yeah, definitely.
Could you share?
Definitely. So when we pitched at the Drinks and Demos event a year ago, we were really at the beginning phase. So we were really in the feedback phase, getting feedback from the audience, and that really helped there. So all the feedback that we received during the Q&A and also during the drinks, of course, that was still possible last year. We all were able to incorporate that in our plans, and yeah, that was a plan. And the thing that we did thereafter was transform that plan into reality. So we start building the model, last year we successfully won the Philips Innovation Award. Also, one nice thing that we realized together. And now we have our software is up and running, and we have now our first enterprise level client. So that's also nice.
Cool.
Okay, great.
And a final question.
Yeah, what do you need? How can we support?
Yeah, I think what we need is access to network in terms of organizations, people that want to explore the added value of synthetic data. People that want to realize data-driven innovation, face privacy constraints. Those
Market Effect is a big company in Eindhoven. I can introduce you there. They use lots of data. Could be interesting for you also because of their network in the Netherlands. So check out Market Effect if you want to get introduced. I can do that. It's no problem.
Great. Cool.
They have tons of data there, privacy kind of stuff. So it could be interesting. Check them out. And if you want, you know where to find me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thanks.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Let's see.
Marijn, our first resident from Design Space. Marijn, are you there?
Yes, Hans and Bert-Jan, I am.
Okay, great.
Hans, this is the only guy I know, and I always tell this, he hates me for it, that built his own car from scratch got it approved by the Rijksdienst voor het Wegverkeer, so the Dutch authorities, and was allowed to drive in it on all roads in the Netherlands. Anybody else who built his own car in the audience? Raise your hand. Nobody? No. Marijn van Vol. And next to that, he's also one of the few people that I know, actually the only one, that exposed his work in the Modern Arts Museum of, I think, New York, Marijn, your design work.
Yeah, the MoMA in San Francisco. Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. And then there was this project by Hans that also joined in HCC 12 with the Demos and Drinks, design and tech. And then what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened?
The two of you, something happened.
Yeah. Now we were already close time together, starting from the plaza. And but Jan, you connected Marijn and me to a customer, Rijkswaterstaat.
Oh yeah.
And together we are supporting now Rijkswaterstaat in challenge-based learning innovation workshops, like zwerfafval, circular viaduct, I don't know but quite some interesting subjects. And Hempel, that's even coming more, because Hempel, Marijn and me are so going to plan a program, O-Design, The Secret of Brainport, how to implement challenge-based learning in practice.
So you're going to give away the secret of Brainport, Hans?
Yeah, everything is...
So you give it all away, Marijn?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're all about sharing, Bert-Jan. So this is a secret that I think we can share.
Yeah.
Design thinking, it's picking up. You see lots of interest for design thinking. I think you're the avant-garde of design thinking internationally. Can design thinking add to an innovation environment like we have here in the Brainport Eindhoven region with all these high-tech multinational companies and startups?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we tend to forget that that we sort of invented design thinking here. At least it wasn't called design thinking then; it was just called design. I mean, we were blessed with a very rich design history, Philips Design being one of its big exponents. And between, I think, 1990 and 2011, Stefano Marzano was the CEO of Philips Design. And he premiered, through applying design to the field of medical, this idea of putting the patient first, of putting the user at its center. And we think, for today, we think that's totally logical. Then when Hans and I meet at the Ministry of Infrastructure, or when I talk to municipalities, governmental organizations, they now also see this value of seeing what problem they need to solve instead of going round and round in processes and institutions. So what Stefano did here was look at it from a medical perspective and started pioneering this idea that that design is an instrument not only to create form, not as an afterthought, but as a way, as an instrument to process complex problems. And
I totally get that, but we've been both involved in this ecosystem for the past 20 years.
Yes.
Hans even longer. And what I see is that designers and tech, now the design and tech networks, they do not often mix and mingle. Why is that?
Good question. I don't really know, because the funny thing is that all great engineers have, I hate the word, have creativity in them, right? We used to have these Friday afternoons here at the high-tech campus where people would just go wild and explore their ideas. And the same thing goes for creative people. When I teach at the Design Academy, there are students that go crazy in this tech direction, exploring different technologies, anything from machine learning to AI, and they do so by themselves. So there's technology and design, and there's creativity in the tech world. So I think we're both closer together than we sometimes think. But even though we're very closely geography-wise together, I think there's still work to be done to mingle even further. I think you're right about that.
The interesting thing is, you mentioned geography. Yesterday I was working out of home, and we're selling pumpkins at our door, which are grown by my grandfather, the grandfather of my children. He's 88. And this design student, I didn't know, she bought pumpkins at our house in midst of Eindhoven Center. Mm-hmm. And yesterday there was this Korean girl wearing a mask, ringing our doorbell. Pumpkins were gone. and she wanted to make a map. This is why I love design. Not a map based on the roads, but based on the stories of Eindhoven, and she chose our story of the grandparent of 88 growing pumpkins, then bringing them to the grandchildren to sell and make money. So I've been talking to one of your students probably yesterday for over an hour about geography in a totally different way from the perspective of things happening in the city. I loved it. Yeah. I don't know what name, it was too difficult, Marijn, but so they're everywhere, these designers these days.
I think we still have a big challenge, where we are in the region very strong in system engineering and building these very expensive, complex machines. There we still have an opportunity that design thinking, conceptual thinking, to be added to system engineering, because then we even can make much more and better machines for the future. And I think that's a challenge what we need to take up together. Because when connecting design and tech really together, we can make much better steps.
Okay, but I saw yesterday was this event from Brainport about systems thinking and connection to Waterloo. Are you guys also involved in that then? No, okay, Marijn is not.
No, we are connected to Waterloo, but not to this event.
Okay, so it was yesterday. Okay, well, we'll have a look at it. Hey, Marijn, great to see you again, and I hope to do a drink soon, anytime it's allowed again. And do you need any help with anything? Can we help you? Can we help your students?
Or do you have a lesson for us? What do you want to?
A lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put on my teaching hat and maybe a desire. It's my sincere hope that within about maybe 10 years' time, with the same ease that we are now communicating in English, even though we're native Dutch speakers, the same way we can do simple calculations, right? Like my 8 or 9 and 11-year-old boys, that we can do simple calculation, 1 and 1 equals 2. Then we can do the same with our left brain. That we can do the same with creative/design thinking. That becomes another default in our skills.
Okay.
That is my wish and my quest.
Nice ambition.
Okay,
thanks
cool.
for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. And to you.
Designer in residence, he was. Yeah, great. Who's next?
Explore the bigger picture.
That was Marijn.
Okay.
Arie van de Krans. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the highest patent dense region of the world, meaning Eindhoven is doing 22.9 patents per 10,000 inhabitants. The runner-up, Hans, this is to feel good again about Eindhoven. And so the runner-up is only doing 8, Arie will correct me if I'm a bit wrong, but I think it's correct, 8.2. So we do 22.9 patents per 10,000, the region.
Yeah, so we do more than 3 times, almost 3 times.
Yeah, but do you know which region is the second region worldwide with regard to patent density?
I think it should be Silicon Valley.
No, it's not Silicon Valley, city.
Oh, city, yeah.
Anybody in the audience? Which city worldwide? Let's call Arie so that he can say which city worldwide is number 2 with regard to patent density. Arie van de Krans, give it up for Arie.
Well, in fact, there is no second one. There is only one, and that is Eindhoven.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Arie. What we love about RVO is the Rijksdienst voor Ondernemen, the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs, is that they're also there to help you as a startup in the early beginning when you have to think about the difficult subject of IP. And the great thing about you and your colleague Hans Helsloot is that you're a regular visitor of Demos and Drinks. But yes. The question is, why are you coming already for 5 years together with Hans Helsloot to these Demos and Drinks?
Well, first of all, of course, the drinks are great.
Yeah.
So, so hopefully we can meet physically again really soon. But the second argument is that it is a good opportunity for us to meet many of the people who are involved in the high-tech XL startups and startups all over the Eindhoven region. we are in a very lucky position that we meet all these people also in IP intake discussions and
Arie, why is it so important for you and Hans to meet these people in an early stage? Why is it so important to think about IP so early already in high-tech?
well, you have to think about IP in different stages.
Your sound, Arie. Arie, we don't hear you.
Sorry?
We don't hear you.
Now we hear
Yes.
you. Yeah.
IP
No, we don't hear you.
in different stages in both the development of your company.
Arie, your sound.
There's something wrong with your sound. Is it only us, or is it also the others experiencing the
No,
same? Could you
not
not buzz if you do you have sound from Arie?
No.
No, we neither, Arie. We have no sound.
Can you say something, Arie?
Yes,
Yeah, now we hear something.
But it looks like your microphone is not totally.
Reliable.
It's a little bit cracky.
Arie, what we'll do, because this is a live show, is that I will make one big advertisement for RVO. For you, Arie van der Krans. You can find him on LinkedIn, Arie van der Krans. And we'll put some more. And Hans Helsloot. Why? Because for startups, I think, Hans, in high tech, it's very important to think ahead and discuss about your IP with Arie and Hans. Because in the beginning, in high tech, you can make mistakes. That's what Arie explained to me once, and Hans, that are not repairable, so to say, later on.
Yeah. So the good thing is that even if you don't have a question, go to them, but anyhow, they can support you.
Now,
Also, in questions what you don't know have yourself, they can support you with the good question, but also in content.
now, and they have this network, also with companies in IP that they can connect you to. So you just know you can trust these guys. They're from the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs, and they are there to help you with your intellectual property.
And they're doing it for free, and that's also for Dutch people important.
So Arie van der Krans and Hans Helsloot, and there's great articles online on Innovation Origins about Arie van der Krans and Hans Helsloot and IP in Brainport Eindhoven region. Yeah, sorry Arie, it's technology.
I try to adjust. Yeah, it's all about technology. Maybe they didn't file a patent on it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that we did hear, but now we have to move on. But anyway, people will know where to find you, Arie, and that's what this was about, because we think over the past 5 years, IP is an important subject, and you're always there. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for supporting all the startups.
Yes, and we love to meet all of you in a later stage again.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Arie. This is an amazing story, Hans. Do you remember Tom Sanders?
Yeah, I also know Tom Sanders. About a nice story. Also in building the event in Building 27.
Yeah.
And Tom, are you there?
Yeah, I'm in, Hans.
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Hey, first of all, congratulations with your 5th birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope we will have a lot more of them.
Yeah, we hope so too.
Yeah.
And so, what do you remember from that time in 27? It was a real, I think, Hans, one of the most impressive pitches that we've seen, because it was a very personal story.
Yeah.
There was a trigger for you to do an amazing invention, and normally it's a 3 minutes pitching time. You took way more, but nobody cared because it was an amazing story. Could you, the people that were not there, help us by, what's the story behind the invention that you did, Tom?
Yeah, well, that's as you say, it's a pretty personal thing.
Mm-hmm. If you do not want to share, it's okay.
No, it's fine, because it began as a big problem because in spring of last year, in 2019, my wife got breast cancer, which is a pretty high impact thing in your life. And in this whole process, we talked a lot to the surgeons and to doctors. And I found out that there is a lot of breast cancer screening being done in the Netherlands, but it's not as reliable as you would want it to be. And especially for young women, they can't use this screening because that's a biological thing. And so I heard that young women and even basically all women are supposed to examine themselves for funny things they feel or they see in their breasts. And that's when I got triggered because, well, the computer vision thing, that was my business. So I thought, well, if these women have to look for anomalies and for strange phenomena, a computer can do a better job. So basically, after one night's sleep, I said, okay, I'm going to do this with computer vision. And let's do a better job than the women can do themselves and provide them with a more secure way of finding things, because there's nothing else.
Yeah, but then you have this idea inspired by this personal story. But how to get it done? But well, the idea is simple: use computer vision. But how? And what happened since? How did you?
Well, that's a long story, but I'll try to keep it a bit short. But anyway, at first I thought this idea, this should work. This is basically just computer vision and do kind of interpretation of what you see. And if you extend it with artificial intelligence, you can look for patterns on the outside of the breast, which are basically ignored. People don't, even doctors don't do very much on physical examination. Once there is an indication that there's something wrong, you usually go to in the big machinery, literally machinery. You get all kinds of physical examinations with X-rays and stuff like that. But the simple thing of looking and feeling is basically not done by professionals. It's only done by women themselves. So I talked to that about that with my wife's surgeon, and she, well, I only told half of my idea, and she was very enthusiastic, because she on a day-to-day basis she had direct contact with women, even a lot of young women who suffer so much about this breast cancer. And she really almost pushed me to do something with the idea. And that's the next part of your question. That was how do you do that? How do you have an idea? How do you get this done?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was Googling and I saw this drinks and pictures thing, and I had no idea what it was. But it has been said before, the word drinks did have some sort of magical attraction. So okay, let's do it.
That's exactly why we do the drinks. Yeah.
But, basically, you might be skipping the pictures and demos, but okay, for historical reasons, just leave it in there. But just kidding. So I thought I saw that on your website you could ask for a few minutes of speaking time. So okay, let's give it a try. And
so you gave it a try, you came, and then?
Yeah, it was July the 3rd. I just looked it up this afternoon, July the 3rd last year. And as you already told it, I'm not a very good guy in sticking to a few minutes. So it became, I think, 15 or 20 minutes, but everyone was very interested. And well, that's basically for what I'm very grateful to you. Because it was the snowball effect started over there, just by telling your story and by other people listening. I did get a lot of contacts that afternoon, and one of the most important contact was with the JADS, the German Academy of Data Science, and because I did ask for data scientists to check out some things.
So, as you already mentioned, we have to move on a bit and I will help you along the road, because I started following you on Facebook and on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So
and I saw one positive message after another. So already in September, I think you landed a substantial funding for yourself. You won an award, or you won I don't know, something.
Yeah, there was this was a tip from the JADS. And there was this new call for funding for innovative ideas, and said, okay, let's try it. It was 25,000 euros, and that was a very lower requirement. So let's give it a try. And to my big surprise, we got 25,000 euros because we were. And I remember what the jury said. We got it because we had a highly innovative approach to a relevant theme in society. And
so you landed yourselves 25,000 euros. You use that to translate your idea also into a prototype. Where are you now? What's the state?
Yeah, we have the nice thing was that very soon after this prize, Demcon, the Demcon Medical Systems joined us because they approached me and said, "Oh, do you want to be in this?"
Okay, cool.
Which was very useful because they have a lot of experts, so I can just ask them anything over there and I get the answers. But then the Corona came, so the original plan of building a prototype and doing experiments was pretty difficult to do. And we switched to a completely digital research thing in a kind of digital twin technology, but then the digital thing first, and now we are going to build the physical thing. So we simulated the whole thing, and this was basically a kind of digital proof of concept, which we now have to translate into a physical proof of concept. And well, that's basically where we are now.
Okay. But that's good news. If you say we're busy translating into a physical concept, means that the digital twin concept worked and was adequate in measuring, or at least the simulations you run. Okay, that's very good news.
Yes, that's it.
And what can we help you with at this moment, Tom? Like we helped you last year, not we, but people in the audience, in the audience today and watching the live stream. How can we help you?
Well, we do need some specific equipment. I mean, a more specific robot arm. Because we want to.
I know a company.
We want to do some experiments because we have to do a lot of research, and for that we would very much like to have a robot arm for, let's say, 4 weeks or something like that, so we can do a lot of experiments with volunteers.
I don't know if Mark Menting is still in the Zoom call. He needed to be out on time, but Marcus otherwise will mention it somewhere on a magical place that he will see.
Yeah.
And you now know his name, so you can contact him. So a robot arm, yes, Tom. And what
else?
Well,
that's basically a very practical thing that we are looking for because they're pretty expensive. And they're difficult to get, and we don't have yet extra funding, so we have to be very careful.
So extra funding is also a wish.
Sorry?
So you have extra funding.
Yeah, well, extra funding is we are working on that. Just this week we are going to apply for a new call for 200,000 euros.
Okay, cool.
And we hope to hear something about that somewhere in March. So
cool.
that would be very nice.
Please go back to the demos and drinks. We hope we're live then, so that there indeed is drinks, because that's what triggered you. So we do. So I hope we can cheer in March on you landing yourselves the 200K. Amazing story, Tom, and thanks for sharing again. And hope that you're very successful on your road in translating this idea that originated in your head in bed into a working prototype and a product that will help women to detect breast cancer in an early stage. Well done, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then open mic. We don't have time for it. The next demos and drinks. Before there's the secret announcement, so don't leave. There's a secret announcement, and there's champagne for us, not for you, and for Carina. Okay, but Bas, Bas is not. No, there's no lights there. Otherwise, we would bring Bas a glass. Okay. Anyway, next demos and drinks is Hans.
Yeah, the 2nd of December. Of course, every handball, as usual, the first Wednesday of the month, and the 2nd of December we're there again. And now, tromgeroffel.
Yeah, Hans, first champagne. And because it's still an honor for me to do this together with you,
Carina. Please, Carina, come on the screen.
We pop some bottles, and meanwhile, I would love to ask Bart Brouwers if he can join the meeting. Bart, if you're still there, I hope so.
I am.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bart Brouwers, breaking news. We have breaking news about breaking news, but first break this bottle. Carina.
Yeah.
Pay attention. It's aerosols all over the place now.
You're out of
Even from a distance, it's great to see your chaotic way of organizing
A
everything.
little bit, come in this direction.
I know I'm in the screen.
Oh, you're in the screen.
I will shoot the camera. Hey, 5 years Dames and Drinks, Hans, Carina, a great honor of doing this together with you and all these amazing partners. That's for sure.
Guys, prost on the next 5 years.
Yeah, this is a bit more
A little bit.
than 1.5 meter
Yeah.
distance.
So Carina,
Yes, from distance.
prost.
Yeah.
Prost. Cheers.
Salute.
Yeah, and then the announcement.
Yeah, the announcement.
Yeah.
So Bart,
No, yeah, together with Bart, because
Together
let me
with
do a
Bart, yeah.
short introduction. After almost every Demos and Drinks, we get questions. What was the name of this or that person? Can you send me the presentation of this? What was that news item about? Could you share? And then we mail and we put them on our website. But then together with Bart, we came up with this crazy idea, which is basically very simple. So it's not crazy at all. It makes totally sense. So why didn't we do it before? I don't know. But Hans, what is the idea?
we're going to serve you after drinks and demos with the update of the Eindhoven news of the region. And each month.
No, basically, it's also because of the success of Innovation Origins that we needed to do this, because 2 years ago, we would say to people, just go to the website of Innovation Origins and you will find all content online. But they're now so big and they're spread all across the world and telling stories from different innovative regions that there's just too much. There's so much content that we cannot find the Eindhoven news. You really have to, not really have to look, but we want to make it easy for you and for ourselves and also share the presentations. So just make your life easier. That's what innovation is all about. And then Bart said, well, okay, let's do this together. Bart, what do you think of this amazing invention of this newsletter? Nobody's doing this. And what will our newsletter be different?
Yeah, it is great, and I'd love to add something to the chaos that's already there. But well, maybe in a way it'll help understand everything that you guys have shown through the years and will be showing in the next couple of years as well. So what we're trying to do is get a sort of a resume, or you could say the highlights of the past month, including the presentations that were held and that were shown in the Drinks, Pitches and Demos. So, well, maybe the next day or 2 days after the Drinks and Demos, people can easily and quietly enjoy all the good news and all the information that is helpful for them as well. So that's basically the idea. And we want to make this into something social. So you are invited to send your comments, your reactions, etc. And please help us make it better. As everything we do and you do also, this is work in progress. So don't expect the first edition to be perfect. But we'll promise after 5 years it'll be perfect.
And what we learned from Mark, we adapt, and that's how we do it.
That's what we do.
We have a plan, and then we change. Do we have a name already, Bart? I know we don't, but it would be great, I think, to ask the audience if there's like a nice name.
Exactly.
Standard, if it's up to me. So not like newsletter in the title, but like a nice name to spark interest, to serve also the community of over 500 people already in Meetup. So it's over 500 people in Meetup already. We just started that like 1.5 years ago. Carina did. A crazy title. I don't know.
Yeah. So the crowdsourcing starts with the title, but that's not where it ends. Please, keep on throwing your good ideas over the hedge, and we'll use them in any way.
You can ask your social media.
Yeah, we
And see
will
what
also
people
ask.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
Sure.
well as social media, yeah, and keep on next to the newsletter. Of course, you should read Everyday Innovation Origins because as
People already know that.
Yeah, okay. But also for these 5 years, always we could count on you. Thank you very much. Also with the awards that we did together, the PIC Awards and the Startup Awards. And yeah, if it's up to me, Hans, well, I don't know about you, but let's shall we do it for another 5 years, Carina?
Yes, yes, more than 5.
We just agreed, we continue.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Let's go.
Thank you all, guys.
Great.
And, thanks again. And see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, well done.
And then there's music. We have a bumper, but that's for next 5 years. We work on those kind of things so that we can do an outro and an